of course, are in action earlier today. They took on Belgium. It would be an own goal, deflection off Jan Vertonghen, that would prove to be the difference late on in what was a pretty forgettable match. But in the end, France advance. How do you sum this up, Frank? It wasn't very good, was it?
It was far from being good. It depends also with the way you see the game. I think Deschamps will be very pleased. And as Gab just alluded, Deschamps likes the 1-0. Right. He doesn't care about the 4-3. He doesn't care about entertaining people. He wants to be solid. He's been educated mostly in Italy at the time where winning 1-0 was perfect. And that's what he loves. He was, and he can be pleased with the fact that the defense was very good. Maignan proved his real talent. Koundé was amazingly fantastic. And Saliba and Hernandez, I still have a little bit question mark about Upamecano, but Saliba and Hernandez were very, very good today. And defensively, there is nothing much to say about France. Offensively, 67 shots since the beginning of the tournament, right. 2 on goals and 1 penalty. Says a lot. And when you have Mbappe, Kolo Muani, Giroud, Coman, Dembele, Marcus Thuram, it's not acceptable. And so they have to do better than that. But again, it's because the players are players who like to play in the counter. And they don't have the space right now because they play against teams who are very tactically, defensively effective. But as soon as they play against maybe Portugal and a team who wants to play, they will have open spaces behind the defense.
We have to be critical, though, of this French side, don't we, Stevie, considering the talent that there is?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they had a lot of shots, but the quality was horrendous, you know. And we're talking about Tchouaméni had 3 shots from 20 yards and then maybe between 20 and 18 yards. And not one of them got anywhere near the goal. They were all 20 yards high or 20 yards wide. We're talking about a guy who's just won the Champions League and the domestic league with Real Madrid. Mbappe as well had a couple of opportunities. He had one that the goalkeeper made a save, which I think was the only save that the goalkeeper had to make, really, in the whole game. I mean, they were horrendous.
With so much talent on show, Gab, there was a real lack of quality throughout this tie, wasn't there?
Yeah, there really was, I think, from both sides. I mean, I think, you know, Deschamps, with Dembele out, Deschamps deciding to just, let me add another defensive midfielder into the mix just in case, just to be extra safe, right? To me, this made little sense. You know, you guys are going on about how old Pepe is and like, imagine Pepe against Kylian Mbappe. Well, you know, we saw Jan Vertonghen, who's 39 years old, and I'd argue probably less mobile than Pep. And he was up against Mbappe, and it's not like Belgium were particularly hurt. I think, you know, it's great to play on the counter. It's fine. Italy did very well for many years with it. I appreciate Deschamps, football-wise, has a lot of that sort of 1980s Italian culture in them. But the reality is, if you play like that and you go a goal down, what happens then? Do you just send on Giroud and just try to lump balls to his head? What's the plan? You have to be able to not just play in transition, not just play on the counter. And I don't think that France are particularly good at that under Deschamps, the way they've been set up thus far.
How would you rate Mbappe?
Average at some point, sometimes invincible. And
invisible.
Oh, yeah.
Not invincible.
Okay, visible, whatever you want to say. Yeah, no, for sure, not invincible, that's for sure. But it's sad. Well, he has a problem with the mask, and he said many times that he can't really play and he doesn't feel good. But he's been like that before, the problem that he had with his nose. And I have to say that the last month, he was maybe thinking too much. It's the first game that he played that he's a Real Madrid player today. Mm-hmm. And so maybe it affects him, I don't know. But it's a problem. But it's like the others, you know. And I don't see a lot. Again, I want to see if it's because of the tactics of the opponents. The Belgium played deep as well, and they don't try too much. I want to see with Portugal, and if they open up a little bit, how it's going to work. And imagine that they open up and Mbappe score 3 goals, they say, okay, we understand. Now I'm with Gab. France is one of the favorites of the tournament, but it seems to have one option. And if they are 1 goal down, how are they going to react? Because they showed during the tournament and for the 4 games that they're not capable of conducting the game. So it's going to be hard for France.
You look at this Belgium side, Stevie. Kevin De Bruyne playing as a holding midfielder for the first hour. What's the thinking there?
I kind of understood what they were doing. They were just, you know, Frank's been saying all along, the French, I don't care, he doesn't care who the French play against. They like the opposition to have the ball.
Yeah.
And so Belgium absolutely made sure that France had the ball. And so...
Nothing
because
happened.
he played...
So that ruined the whole 90 minutes.
Listen, it obviously didn't work, but the way they set out, I had no problem with it. Because you've got 2 up front. And so you're asking Kevin De Bruyne to be the first player to get the ball in the position he's playing and pick out the 2 front guys. So I have no problem with the theory. The problem was, any time they played the ball forward, Lukaku was stuck in a fight with Saliba that he couldn't win.
Right.
You know, they were delivering balls at his throat or too high. Openda the same. They were bashing balls at them. So they gave them no chance and they couldn't get out. And clearly the plan was, let's keep this team at bay until later in the game, then we can maybe open up. And so around, 60 minutes?
Yes.
De Bruyne moved up, brought on another defensive midfielder and took Openda off and tried to get a little bit further forward. But they're just not good enough that they could break down France, to be honest.
This was a shot, wasn't it, in the first half that we saw? But
it was a free kick. The goalie
De Bruyne had a very good...
Like
De Bruyne delivered a very good pass, and I think there was a big chance. I don't remember, it was before he moved up a little bit.
Carrasco.
Carrasco. The thing is, it was the right tactic to do against France. But when you see what you have in front for Belgium, with De Bruyne, with Doku, with Lukaku, with Carrasco, and you have a possibility with some others coming up, it destroys a little bit of what you can get from those Belgian players. We are very talented and it can show that they can fight against a big country, even if that country loves to wait for the players and open up. It wasn't for me the greatest tactic from the coach.
It was boring, wasn't it?
It was, rubbish. This hasn't been very good of late.
Well,
the show hasn't been great, but this tournament overall. Gab, Belgium, terrible tournament, really.
Yeah, it's been disappointing. Obviously, you know, they went into it under a bad moon, if you will, with the issues with Tedesco and Courtois leading into it. They never really got going. I think that lack of a deeper playmaker, I think, really hurt them. And I mean, I thought Tielemans could do a job a little bit when he was in there. Once they went in a different direction, I said Tedesco tried different things. He tried 2 strikers. He tried Trossard, throughout the tournament. And it never just came together. And I don't know if this is Kevin De Bruyne's final major tournament. I hope not. And if he leaves City and goes somewhere warm for a couple of years to kind of rest and relax, then he'll be all refreshed in 2026. So I'll look forward to that.
Yeah.